Welcome to Yeshiva Daf Shir sponsor L'Nishvat Sam Yakashom Le'Abasit Tzchok. We're holding Basra Daf Pei. We're starting the Mishnah at the top. Halokeyach Peirush Shoivach Mechaver. Someone who takes the fruits, what are the fruits? The birds that are born in the nest from his friend. So all he's buying, what is he buying? Is that pay, Mindy? Pay in top.
Pay.
All he's buying is the chicks that are born, the new blooders that are coming out. Not the actual nest, and not the original mother. Mafriach Breicha Rishayim. The firstborn couple, you leave it with the mother. What is the firstborn couple? So the mother, as Rashbam explained, what Lubbe Barichus says, a lot of Rashbam in Talmud. Rashbam explains it basically every month. The way when you have these doves, they have every month they give birth to two birds, a male and female. That's every month except Chodesh Adar. Chodesh Adar is 1 month they don't give birth. Interesting point. But regular of the months, you have every month they give birth to two. So the first, when you sell the nest, you need to keep with the mother the first breicha. Breicha is the two birds that were born that month. Why? As we'll see in the Gemara, because the mother requires herself to have in order for it to sustain and have a cocoon for this nest. The nest will continue. Is you have to have the mother needs to have one children with her, like you have to have the children with her.
What happens the next month?
The next month you give it to the buyer. The buyer takes the buyer.
If the bird needs to.
No, the first bird stay with her.
How long do they stay?
For a year. What a year? That sounds for the Rashbam. That year you take care because you have the birds, then they'll have more. So, Bafriya Breicha means you let the first Breicha go. You don't take it. You leave it with the mother. The parents. Peirus kaveris. Now, the person buys the produce or the peirus, the fruits of a beehive. Noitel gimel nechilim umesaris. What is gimel nechilim? He takes the Pashup Shah in the Mishnah means he takes the first three nechilim. What's the nechilim? So Rashbam explains. Once you have a beehive in the beginning of the season, there is the bees that were born go out of the beehive and they go on the tree. They sit on the tree. That's called the nochil. So you take the first, and then comes the next birth, and then the next one. And then there's few. He says, the Rashbam brings, depends on the country. He says in our country there's only 3, and they're in Bava, they had much more. They had about 10 birth swarms that came out. So the first 3 go to the buyer. Misaris. Now, what's Misaris? So we'll see in the Gemara. I was going to bring a few explanations what Misaris is. But the idea is that it's referring to that the seller will make sure that the bees will not have more children. He gives the buyer this, and he makes sure he causes him not to have children, as I was explained. Or the pshat is that they do an exchange. You take some swarms, we take some swarms, called Messiahs, like jumping, skipping around. We'll see in the Gemara. Chalus dvash, when a person buys chalus dvash, what's chalus dvash? In the beehive, you have the chalus dvash, you have the honeycombs. The honeycombs, he's buying the honeycombs. You could take all the honeycombs. But maniach beis chalus, there's 2 honeycombs you must leave over there, because these 2 are what the bees survive on during the winter. So you're just buying the combs, so you can take whatever is new, whatever is not needed, but the ones that are for survival purposes, you have to leave in the beehive. Zaysim lokuts, he says it takes the olive trees to be able to cut them off, take out the branches and the fruits. Maniach shtei grufios needs to leave 2 branches there for the 2 branches, and from there the tree will grow and born again. So Gemara. The Gemara brings a problem. The Mishnah says, says the Gemara about Tanya Breicha Rishona V'Shnio. It says in the Brisa, not Breicha Rishona, Breicha Rishona V'Shnio. Now, so you don't live with the parents, only the first couple that's born, the first male and female, but you also do the second one. So that doesn't work with our Mishnah. Depends if it's for her or for the mother. What does it mean? So you have many shittas in the Rishonim to understand. A few shittas in the Rishonim. The Rashbam learns halo ve'alimo means that for every child, for every mother, she needs to have the children. So And the Mishnah says you have the mother. So you need to have the children for the mother. Now, if these children have children, and you want to keep them, you have to leave children for them too. You always have to leave one generation of children with the parents.
I mean, what's the chidush?
No, because the Mishnah just told me you live one generation. So I would leave the mother with the daughter. But what about the daughter of the daughter? You have to leave them as well. Why? The Gemara doesn't like that.
That's the first generation.
Yeah, but what about the second generation? You always have to leave the second. You have to leave the second generation too, right? So the Gemara says, "My shno imo." Why the mother needs only one generation? The mitzavto abarso, because she has her kids, her daughter, to be with her, so she's good. The azuga and the husband. The shavkinli. Inami titzavto imo ve'azugo the shavkinli. 1 second. The daughter has already a generation to enjoy. The Gemara understands in the Havamim to ask, Mendy, what's the Havamim? What's the thing? The answer is, we thought you need to have with every couple another couple. Because being alone with one couple, it's a little boring. You need to have another couple. So the mother and the husband have the 2 kids. The 2 kids have the mother and the husband. So what do you need more than that? That's what we're saying. That's what I think. The Shavkin imo. So the Shavkin, we leave it. We leave for the mother, the daughter. We leave for the daughter, the mother. Everything is good. Says the Gemara, big aside. Imo abarto mitzavto. Barto imo lo mitzavto. The mother, she has pleasure, she has nachas from the daughter. The daughter, not so much from the mother. The daughter needs her daughter. That's what he says. So the way Jewish Bava learns, we're talking about another generation. There's other pshat. The Migash says maybe it's another nest, another couple. You have one mother is one, and then you have another one. Don't tell me that it's that you could be with the other family. The Migash don't say such a way. But the Rish Bam, let's focus on the Rish Bam. The pshat is that the mother, you leave her children. The children, you leave them their children, because it's not good enough. The mother. What are more than that? What about the children of the children? Meaning generation number 4. So here we have a machlekes Rish Bam and Taisus. Rish Bam says, once I have already 3 generations, that's already a community. I'm good. I don't need to do more. So you leave for the mother her children. For these children, you leave for their children. The 3rd generation doesn't need children anymore. They have parents and grandparents. Good enough. But Taisus learns, no. The children, the grandchildren need to have their children. And their children have their children. So if every generation needs to have at least 1 kid with them. That's how the Taisus. Says more pairs, kaveres, netel, gimel, nechilim, umesaris. So you take the 3 swarms and your mesaris. Bima mesaris. What's mesaris? Mesaris means you don't actually make them mesaris that don't have children anymore. Meaning that causes serious. How do you say serious in English? What's the lesson when a person can have children?
Well, it depends. Saris depends.
Yeah, saris. How do you make someone a saris? Means you make
Castrate.
Castrate. You don't castrate. You just give them a mustard. And by giving them mustard, right, with the mustard, that causes not to have children. It's not that the mustard does that. And because they get they eat the mustard, and the mustard is very hot. It makes their mouth hot. They go and they're eating their honey. And therefore what? So here the first we say in different ways. That the Rish Bam learns that once they eat the honey, they're very full. They're very full, they don't do pure behavior. Other Rishonim learn, the Rish Bam himself maybe brings it. The pshat is that once they eat the honey, so the children they give birth to is in the hive and not outside, because usually the other ones go outside. Now they have honey, so they have room in the hive to get them over there. Yeah, that's it. The Gemara's going to go back in a second to what we saw there. So the Gemara, what is the Gemara saying now? The Gemara is saying through the mustard, you make sure that no children will go out of the hive. Either pshat is because the mustard is causing not to have children, or the mustard makes them bottom preview, or the mustard gives them more room to have children in the hive. So what Sirus means? Sirus is, as we say in the Gemara sometimes, Soris is a mikra dashehu. What does it mean, Soris is a mikra dashehu? Don't say every word dashen, take word number 1, word number 3, right? You skip. So that's what you're doing over here. When you're giving the buyer the 3 swarms, you don't give the 3 consecutive swarms. You give him swarm number 1, swarm number 3, swarm number 5. And the seller takes swarm number 2, number 4, number 6. Why? The later swarms come out, says the Rashbam, are worse. So that's why they don't do, you don't give 3 directly. On the Bryce it says, no, the buyer takes 3 as the mashmos of the Mishnah. Takes 3 swarms. After that, from 4 and on, they split it 1 by 1. The buyer takes 1 and the seller takes 1. And that's how you do it. And the Rashbam says, that's the mashmos that you have in the Mishnah. Says the Gemara, you always have to leave the two combs in the kaveris. Now this we saw with the sugi we're going to get to that we saw earlier. He said, what Kana started to say is that a honey in a beehive is always going to be considered food. It's food. I have kivina, tuma. You have tumas oichlim. Is it food or not? Honey is considered to be food. Even though he did not designate it to be food, it's already food. It says that the vash kaveres is not food, not drink. And you're saying over here that it's what? That it is food. Meaning it doesn't have not tumas oichlim, not tumas mashke. So the first answer that was bringing this over here says we talk about these 2 combs that we leave, honeycombs that you leave throughout the year. That stays for who? That's not being eaten by Odom. That's left for the bees only. So it's not food. That's not food, not mashke. But the other honey is food. That's what he says. Rabbi Omar, Rabbi Lezer. This is Shittas of Lezer. What's a Lezer? Something what did none on that pale and base. And this is what we saw later on the Samechei. Kaveris vorim and blozer oimer arehi kekarka. The kaveris, a beehive, has a din of a land. The koisim oleh pruzvul. As we saw there, you don't write a pruzvul, you don't have a pruzvul that's shmita shnam mishamit unless you have a land. Ve'inu mekabelas tumo bim koimu. Doesn't get tumo in its place like a land. The land doesn't get tumo. Why? Because it's considered to be like you're taking out fruits from the tree. That's a blazer. It doesn't have a din of a karka. It does get tumo. Because that's to be connected to the ground. What's the reason of this? This is all we saw in the Gemara Leil. It says by Yoinasan that he took the piece of wood and he put it into the forest of honey. Forest and honey? Honey is not forest. By a forest, if you cut it off the tree, it's chayv chatos. Honey is the same thing. And many of you should understand, from here you learn that a beehive is considered to be connected to the ground. So what is the Gemara saying? What is Rova answering? When we have a discussion, if honey is considered to be food or not, says Rava, it's Rabbi Lazar. Said that the what? Rabbi Lazar is the one who says that it has the din of karka, and therefore it doesn't have a din of eichel. It's considered to be connected to the ground. Anything that's connected to the ground is not food. Until you don't take a fruit out of the tree, it doesn't get tumo. So according to Abelazar, it's considered to be connected to the ground. It's not food, not mashke. But Mashake, according to Abelazar, it is food. Says the Gemara, Meisivei, the vash hazav mikavaitoi. When you have honey falling from the beehive, in a loyal mashke, it's not food, not drink. So because Abaye said that the only thing Abaye said, what is not food, not drink, is the shtei chalus, the 2 honeycombs that stay in the beehive. So we're talking about also, that's what we're talking about. The 2 chalus, if they spill out of the kaveris, it doesn't have a din. But according to Rava, that if it's you want to go like a blazer, that's only when it's connected to the ground. But once it spills out of the kaveris, once it spills out of the beehive, it's not anymore connected to the ground. It should not be food anymore. It should be food at that stage. No, I'll tell you what happened. The honey did not fall and is ready to be eaten. The honey is falling onto a klimos. What's a klimos? A disgusting kli, which makes it not edible. Similar answer. It goes to kaskasim, small pieces of wood, reeds, that you can't pick it up. So that's and the Rashbam says, but a klimos means it's still food. Because here you can't really reach it. Because you can't reach it, that's why, as a din, that it still is not considered to be food. So according to Blazer, when you have the honey in the beehive, so it's not food because it's connected to the ground. When it comes out, if it's edible, if you can reach it, it's food. But here it's going to a place where you can't reach it. So the one may say another question. Dvash bekavartu, we have honey in the beehive, it's not food, not drink. If he had his mind to make it into achilo, so he makes it the food. Lemashki, he wants to make it as a drink. Metam to his mashka, so it was drink. Visual abayi nicho, visual go to abayi. We talk about the two chalos. That's what there's not a food that we're talking about. The two chalos belongs to the bees. If he changes his mind, then it makes it into something else. Elul ravo kasho. Why you can't say that it's a Rab Lazar? Because according to Rab Lazar, when something is in a beehive, it's considered to be connected to the ground. I don't care what you're thinking. It's like I have food on the tree. If I have food on the tree and say I want it to be not connected, it's still connected. You can't do anything about it. Once you take it out, you take it out. But I didn't take it out yet. So he says, Omacharova Tori Tachi. Chishiv alav lachilo einu mitamatu esoichlim. Lemashke einu tumatu es mashke. So the simple understanding is you change the gear so. It says, if I talk about the food, the original Bible says it becomes tumatu esoichlim. It says, no. If you thought about food, it's not mitamatu esoichlim. The mashke, the original gear so was mitamatu es mashke. So einu mitamatu es mashke. The Rat says, you not change the gear so. The way you have to read it is, lo ichlim mitamatu esoichlim, not lo ichlim. So then the result is Tavtu Zoichlim. Lo'ichlim to be Tavtu Zoichlim? No. Lemashkim, Tavtu Mashkim? No. You do that, so you're doing it. Okay. Tagav Selav Kano. So the more says, so that's what it means. In the you have to say the rights that way in order to explain Korta Ravel. If you want to say like a Blazer, that these things are not food, only Korta Blazer. Tagav Selav Kano, you have a brace of Kano, Advaj, Kavartu, Metavtu Zoichlim, Shlem Machshavo, that a food is that honey is considered to be food without a machshava. So again, what we learned, if Kala says that honey in a beehive is dinner food, we have Bryce that says otherwise. So you have a Bai and Rav. Bai says depends. The two honeycombs that stay for the honey, for the bees, that is not petam. That's not a. Everything else is, Rav says that Rav Loza has a shita when things are connected or in the beehive, they're considered to be connected to the ground. So that was the two answers to say, and the one answer more discussed. Says more Zaysim Lokutz, when you take olive trees, Maniach Shtei Grufis, you have to leave two branches. Someone who buys a tree to cut it, so you want to take the tree, don't take the entire tree. You have to leave something for the owner to regrow the tree. So you leave a tefach next to the ground, and then you chop the tree above that. Besulas Hashikwa, another type of tree we mentioned before, Gimel Tvachim, you leave 3 Tvachim from the ground. Southern shikwa, an older shikwa, bet tvachim. Bekonim reeds, or kfonim is vines. Minapkak v'lam apkak is like the knot, from the knot going on. Betkolim ubarozim. I speak about dekel and erez. Dekel is a palm tree, and erez is a what's translate? What?
Cedar.
A cedar tree. Choyfer mishash. That you have to cut to the bottom. Fishein gizlo machlif. They don't regrow. So even if I cut a little bit, it won't help. They don't regrow. Second, you want to have 3 tefachim to leave it. In Shmito, you don't cut off the source of shikma. Because it'll be avoid on karka. Now let work the land in Shmito. Now let it do normally. But you could do not normally, because then you're not doing it for the purpose of the avoid of the tree. You're doing it for something you need. You either go 10 tefachim above the ground, so it doesn't really benefit the tree which is connected to the ground. Or goyim me'am haaretz, or you cut to the bottom of the earth. Me'am haaretz u the kashi. Hayidich ma'alelo. But in Shemitah, you're not allowed to do anything which is beneficial for the tree. So I'm telling you, what's the way not to be beneficial to the tree? Cut the tree to the bottom until you get to the earth. Cut the tree until you reach the earth. Actually, if you leave anything above, the tree is still fine. By us, we said you want to buy a tree for somebody, leave him 3 tvachim. Actually, if I leave him less, it's not fine. So is less than 3 tvachim okay for the tree, not okay for the tree? There's a between Shemitah and Mechira. Says the Gemara, if it's 3 tvachim, for sure the tree is benefiting from when you leave 3 tvachim or more. If you completely chop the tree down until the land, it's over. Between the 0 to 3, it's not so good and not so bad. By Shemitah, I'm not taking any risks. You're not allowed to benefit the tree. So if I'm leaving a tefach, it's still benefiting something. It's not so great, but something it is. So you have to go down to the bottom. By I want at least 3 tvachim, it should be a good tree. In other words, we have over here the Gemara basically says it's like a middle zone. You have 3 tvachim, it's great. Amar, it's terrible. In the middle, so-so. So therefore, in Shemitah, make sure there's no so-so at all. And Mekomeka, give me more than so-so. I need to have a real tree. So I leave 3 tvachim and then I take everything else. Says the Gemara, but calling by Rozim Chayf and Meshai, if he shein gives a machlif. By these 2 trees, by the palm tree and by the cedar tree, you take down completely because it doesn't regrow. So the Gemara, if gives a machlif, tell me the Eretz does not regrow. The Ador Yisham Chia Bar Lulaini. Chia Bar Lulaini had the following drush of a little bit of gato here. Mai Dichtiv Tzadik Katomer Yifroch. Ke'erez Balavon on Yizke. It says that tzaddik will grow like a tomer, like a palm tree. Ke'erez Balavon on Yizke, like eres, like a cedar tree. Is it a palm tree or a cedar tree? Even Emar Tamar, Laman Emar Erez, Emar Erez, Laman Emar Tamar. What do you think 2 trees? Says the Gemara, Emar Erez, Emar Tamar, Tioimer, Emar Erez, Inoy Seperis. A tzaddik inos appears. Eres, a cedar tree, doesn't have fruits. So if I tell you that the tzaddik is similar to a cedar tree, you'll say it doesn't have fruits like a cedar tree. What's the Paris? The Rishbam learned the Paris of your mean that is Arichel Tzidkoysa Boilam Azav Ve'in Lo Lom. I would think maybe there's a Malam, big Kiddush. Tomer does have fruits. In the right Tomer, in my area, they to me, not Tomer and Gizu Machliv. Tomer, if you cut it off, it doesn't regrow. Tzaddik and Gizu Machliv, Tzaddik dies. So there's nothing, it doesn't regrow. The cat, what does it mean if he cuts off? I mean, in other words, if he dies, nobody will come to replace him. Eres, to tell you, the same way Eres regrows, also the Tzaddik regrows, means he has a child who will be like him. That's the Gemara Dashits from Eres and Tomer, and Yimele, we see, that's the Gemara brings. Just to mention over here, that, first of all, we have, the Chazal mentions this idea that a tzaddik, the nechom that Am Yisrael has is to have tzaddikim. And if one tzaddik goes, the Baruch gives another tzaddik. The Zohar Hashem, Shvo Hashem, we always have another tzaddik. So that's what it means, Gizer Machlev. I need to make sure there's somebody else. The Baal HaFlo says in the Sefer Ponim Yofes and Chumash, he says a beautiful thing. He says, he goes on to dash the Gemara even more, a little more different than the Rashbam. So what does it mean that a Tomer has fruits and Eretz doesn't have fruits? He says a big yisoid. He says when a Rebbe teaches Talmidim, so in the first stage, or Al Panov, he loses his growth. He doesn't grow as big. If you would not teach, you would be able to learn Torah the whole day and the whole night. You would be up there. Once he's teaching Talmidim, he's losing that. So he's less. Right? This is the Baruch Ber, famous that he said that the reason he said, I don't know Yerushalmi, because I built Rav Chazan, what was his first name? One of his Talmidim. I built him up. I was busy taking care of him. I couldn't learn Yerushalmi. Right? So he says like this. An Erez grows very, very tall, but it doesn't have fruits. The Tomer has fruits, but it's a short tree. The Torah represents a tzaddik who teaches Torah. So he has fruits. The Erez is the one that doesn't teach Torah. He's very tall, but he has no fruits, he has no Talmidim. So he's saying that Tzaddik, which is Katomar Yifroch, he's teaching Talmidim. Because Bava says, he won't lose out. Even though he lost on his thing, you'll be able to grow as tall as you need to go, even if you give it to somebody else. That's the Nitziv learns. And that's the Bava learns. So what does the Gemara bring around from here? The Gemara brings around from this drasha, that you see that what? That the Erez, the Gemara, what is the Gemara say? Don't tell me a tzaddik is like a tomar, doesn't come back, doesn't regrow. That's what you say, Erez. It does regrow. So you see the Erez does regrow. You just told me that both a tomar and Erez don't regrow. Says the Gemara, it depends on the different types of arozim, different types of cedar tree. There's 10 different arozim. Shenema, eten b'midbar given the midbar, and the pasuk goes on to say 6 different kinds: Erez, Shito, Vehados, Eit Shemen, says Asim Barovo, Roish, Tidor, Vitash. Sorry, 7. Right? So Erez, the Gemara is going to explain. That's Asim. So that's the pasuk. So the Gemara goes and tells me the different trees. Erez is Arzo. That's what type it is. I don't know if the art school helps us a little bit or not. Arzo, the Rashbam says is Kitzo. Shito, what is that? That is Torniso. Hados is Aso. There's a big problem because Hados is what you do in the Esrig. That's a chor. It's not a cedar tree. It's leaves.
Calls it a myrtle.
Myrtle.
But that's
Shaila, deals with that. Eit Shemen, what is that? Afarsimo. Broish is Baiti. And Tidor is Shago. And Metashor is Shubinu. 7 different types of trees. So the more, once again, you said 10. There's only 7. I need 7 of it. Where's the 10? There's 3 more that they add to them. Aloinim, Almoinim, Almoigim. These 3 other trees. What is that? Aloinim is Buti. Almoinim is Bluti. Almoigim is the Pe'avundav is Kasiso. Another 3 trees. Ika de Amre, the Rashbam says that Kasiso means corral that grows in the sea. Ika de Amre, Aroinim, Almoinim, Almoigim. Aroinim is Ari. Almoinim is Dulvi. And again, Almoigim is Kasiso. So the Gemara is telling us over here that you have 10 types of arozim. For our sukkah means there's 2 types of areas. One area is Gizo Machlib, another area is En Gizo Machlib. That's the answer to the Gemara. It's different types of arozim. How many arozim you have? You have 10. The pasuk says only 7. There's 3 others. Anybody who's listening hears a similarity that it says that you have the Shiva Amim, like Amisol is Krevish Next, and there's 3 more will come out to love it. And that's always in the structure of the Bria. You always have 7 that are Megula and 3 that are Mechuse. So by Rozim, what is why they have Rozim, more specifically that tree, that's more for when you start on Kabbalah. Okay, we'll stop over here. Have a wonderful Shabbos, Be'ezer Hashem. Kol Tu David.